Hey guys, Coach Nate McBride here with the BladeFit Academy, and I wanted to show you something really cool here quickly. So behind me on my workbench, I have a blank deck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this into a Scottish Targe. If you don't know what a Targe is, it's basically just a word for shield. So this is a Scottish shield. Well, it's going to be. So what I need to do is put the skin on it. So I'm going to show you guys how I do this. If you want to make one at home, pretty simple process. So let's show that right now. Okay, so here's the basic principle. I want to put something over this wood, and I know that traditionally Targes, what we see now, they're this beautifully decorated and very elaborate, leather facing. They've got two straps on the back side. I will be doing the straps. But the purpose of these Targes is that I want to make an entry-level Targe so that people can feel good about using it for HEMA purposes, that they'll actually go out and use this shield for practice, not be afraid of, first off, spending a lot of money on something that looks very beautiful, and then not bringing it to sword practice. This is for practice use purposes. So I'm not going to use leather, but what we're going to do instead to protect this wood, and first off, this is birch, okay? This is lightwood birch. Not traditionally what they use, but hey, you know what? We want to make this nice and light, very durable. We want it to be able to take a lot of abuse through practice, and even in tournaments, we want it to look good. So we want it to look good. We want it to be inexpensive materials, and we want it to be durable and something that you're really proud of. So I've got this really nice, thick, almost canvas material. Black is really nice. We're going to put black paint over it, right? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to attach this cloth with this nice wood glue here. And as soon as I get that on, we're going to put this on. And the wood glue is going to act as kind of like a resin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on this side, attach this where it needs to go. And then once this cures, I'm going to put a second layer over the top of this, because we want this wood glue to permeate through the fabric and get it saturated, so that when it sets up, when it cures, it's this really nice, dense, composite type material. This stuff is almost as strong as wood. This nice fiber going over the top of it. It's really going to be attractive looking for paint. It's going to be dense. And yeah, so let's get into it. So, okay, I'll put that there for now. So I'll just take this wood glue. You want to make sure that this surface is nice and clean, so we've done that. And depending on the thickness of your fabric, that determines how much glue that you want to use. And since this is very thick fabric, it is not a super tight weave, but it's it's a nice fabric, so it is a dense weave, but it is very thick, and so we do want lots of wood glue here. Now, I'm kind of miserly on purpose, so for those of you who are thinking, "Geez, Nate, that's a lot of glue," yeah, it is. Oh, by the way, you could pick this up at Home Depot. It's for spackle or whatever. I splurged and got the $15 one instead of the $10 one. This is just to quickly spread it all around, get it nice and even. It doesn't have to look nice because the top is going to cover it, but these and you're going to get some stuff there, so you could use that on the corner to cover that up. You don't want too much excess, of course, because that's a problem. And then, a wet rag to clean this up so it doesn't set up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice brush here, and then I'm just going to brush this to even it up. And I want to work kind of quickly because this stuff is setting up. And the reason why I'm doing this is I don't want those lines to show up through the fabric, because it does add, believe it or not, whatever the texture is, the cloth does not entirely hide that, especially if you got a thin muslin. I learned that the hard way. And then this brush, of course, you could reuse. It just, you can clean up this glue by putting it in water. So I got a water bowl off camera. In that goes. Okay. So now we got that. Nothing too fancy, guys, but nice and thorough. And then I'm going to take my cloth and I am going to, yeah, see, there, stretch that over there. And if it comes through like this, it's okay. Well, you can, you can't see with the camera. It saturates all the way through. That's okay. Around the corner, you want to make sure that the glue adheres to the fabric all the way around. So I'm just going to use my hands here. Fingerprints, see the fingerprints? If you press too hard to get fingerprints on there, that does show up. So you want to work around that. Now, of course, I am putting glue over the top once it sets up. So there you go in a nutshell. Now, everyone has busy lives and whatnot. That's true. So you could set up the glue and then go do something else while this cures. Wait 6 hours. But I've got this nice heat gun, and they really don't cost a whole lot, and it saves time. And I'm impatient. I want to get this done. I'm getting this done for a buddy of mine, and I want him to try it out and see what he thinks. So, Jay, this is the making of your Targe here, buddy. So, yeah. Now, while I'm dinking around with this, remember I've already washed this off. Not very well. I'll do it again, and then my brush. I'm going to clean it in that. There's a bowl of water just off camera. So you really want to make sure that you're cleaning up. Okay, well, I'm going to stop the camera because this is just, literally like watching paint dry. But this is the process. You don't want to hold the heat gun. You want to keep moving it, right? You don't want to burn a hole in anything. This is hot. This is wood and fabric, so, be mindful of that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a second layer of this over the top. We're going to use a lot of it, and then we're going to try and press it in with this this metal thing, and then we are gonna brush it on again one more time, and then we're gonna let it cure. And we don't have to worry about. We just want to make sure that we get past the edge. And if you get excess on the material, that's okay. This material, we're just gonna cut away. We're not gonna put it over the edge or anything like that. I have something else planned for the edge in this build. Lots of glue. Lots of glue. Gluey, gooey, gluey, glue. Look, isn't it a pretty design? Let's mess it up. Yeah. Alright, so got my spatula here. Isn't it pretty? So pretty. Again, we want to saturate through all of those fibers. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could use epoxy or something like that. I found wood glue is pretty strong. Does a great job. The only thing we need to worry about is the surface of the glue will dry how you leave it, and so I'm going to brush over it again, and so I'm trying to make it a little prettier this time around. Whether I'm successful in that, well, that's a whole other thing, isn't it? But here's my attempt. Right? Make sure, again, it's around all the edges. And if I do this right, I get an excess bead along there to work with. So I can just drag it along the edge like that. And again, don't be afraid to go over. That's fine. We're just going to cut that away. with the utility knife as we go along. Okay, I think we've squished it in pretty much everywhere. So I'm just gonna throw some excess right there before this gets too bad. Wipe that. I'm gonna use my brush again. Now it is slightly damp, but that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a texture over the top, and it's going to make this look a lot nicer, and that really is going to show through the paint when we paint over the top. And we got these nice lines, and you know, if you wanted to get super fancy, there's things that you could do to make it look like leather or, you know, whatever. And with gesso, I'm doing it with the glue. Gesso's got glue in it anyway, so now I'm just messing around. Okay, so I'm done, and ta-da! So now I'm gonna put the heat gun on this sucker, and then yeah, we'll let it cure, and then it's paint time. See, when you're curing it, it's like, it reminds me of melted butter. It just gets nice and clear and a little bit shiny. That's nice. See, I'm not sure if you can see that right there. It's just nice and shiny. I'm not going to move the camera or anything. I'm going to focus on my job. So, yeah. So I'm just going to work on this. Melt it down like butter. Okay, here we go. I have cut the fabric along the edges. And so now we've got a nice clean look. So it's getting there, and it excites me every time we get something that's looking closer and closer to a shield. So we're gonna do the other side. I have a piece of fabric already cut, but we're just gonna rinse and repeat, guys. So so that's it for today. This is my messy garage. I'm Nate McBride with the BladeFit Academy. Always remember to slay your demons, and this is awesome.